Prime, this is my cheat sheet for Monday, August 29th. Alright, Iran, it came and went. Some of the hype wasn't quite as big as some of the damage. The net of it all is that it is looking to be a smaller storm than many of us had thought in terms of actual costs. And the good news for the financial markets today, no disruption. Everything will open as normal. And the biggest thing at this point is just going to be getting air traffic flowing again after more than 9,000 flights were canceled over the weekend. But it was one of these semi-perfect storms for insurance companies. What I mean by that is, while it certainly wasn't good news if you were negatively impacted, it wasn't near as big as what they had planned for, and you're actually likely to see a lot of insurance companies have a good day today and throughout the course of this week as many people prepared for the insurers to have a really awful stretch with Irene last week. So you actually could see a little bit of relief. However, here's the thing. Even if it's at $7 billion, the total damage, you're still going to see more than $70 billion paid out so far this year by insurance companies on these natural disasters around the world, which means one big thing for you and me. You can guarantee your property insurance bills are going to be rising next year, regardless of if you have any claims, because all these insurance companies go to the same people for reinsurance. They've been paying out that $70 billion. All right, meanwhile, investments. Where can you go to get yield? You certainly can't earn much of anything in money market, savings accounts, CDs, treasuries. Good Lord. You can't even get 2% on a 10-year treasury anymore. It's kind of crazy. So where do you go? Well, the Federal Reserve said they're not going to raise interest rates for 2 years, right? Well, that gives stocks, equities, and the people who run them plenty of opportunities now to try to win over your investment dollar, especially as many baby boomers are nearing retirement and need yield. If you could count on a safe, solid 5%, for example, from a company you're very familiar with, would that be part of your investment for retirement? Many companies are going to bet on it. It looks like we're going to see a record number of companies start paying dividends over the next 12 months and a record number of companies raising dividends over the next 12 months. This creates something interesting, and it's part of the strategy that I use. I set my companies to reinvest their dividends automatically. I actually judge my month-to-month performance not necessarily by how much the total value of my investments is, but actually how much income am I deriving in a given month and am I projected to earn over the next year based upon my portfolio. And as long as that is continually moving higher, that's how I deem success. That might be a strategy that's a winner for you as well. Remember, companies that have more cash than debt are growing top line year over year and pay a dividend that is better than what you can get in all of those dreaded fixed income investments. Short sales are rising, and this is actually good news. We know that we have a lot of distressed properties, but the good news here is more and more people are waking up and not just letting houses go through to foreclosure. And also, banks are a little bit more skilled at dealing with these now as well. We saw short sales rise by another 2% in terms of the total component of all housing sales in this country. It still stands at about 12% of all sales nationally, while short sales in our area are actually more than 30% of the marketplace. But what's good news about this? Twofold, even if you're not in a distressed situation. Number one, short sales sell for about 15% more on average than a foreclosure. So if you have a neighbor that's short sales, it's much less likely to hurt your own property value than it is if they just let it go through to foreclosure. The other end of that as well is these sales are pushed through the system much faster. Even though short sales take longer to close than a traditional mortgage on average, that still doesn't take anywhere near the year and a half that you see with the foreclosures, meaning that as more people get familiar with this, home values can be maintained a little bit better, and we can get through these distressed properties quicker. If you haven't entertained a short sale, you probably should. And there are also huge credit implications as well that come into play with short sales versus foreclosures. All right, some technology stuff real quick. Groupon, it's officially won. It beat Facebook at deals. And it's another reminder that just because somebody has a big brand name doesn't mean they can necessarily do something better than an existing company in Facebook with the deals. A lot of people, including me, thought they had a pretty good chance of working. In all of their test markets, they weren't doing well enough to make money. So they're out. And Groupon and Living Social and all the other deals companies win, at least for now. Speaking of which, Apple TV, gone, at least with the TV rental business. Forget Hulu and anything else. They're not going to get in that game anymore. Maybe they do end up buying Hulu, but they aren't going to try to compete against Hulu, so you'll no longer be able to rent rent TV shows from iTunes in the Apple Store. Also, 600 people were going to be hired by Ford over the last couple of weeks. 17,000 applicants for those jobs. Still, obviously, a lot of distress. That was a plan in Kentucky. And last but not least, the Madden video game is going to be released tomorrow, but the lockout took its toll even on it. If you load up your game, you're going to notice the rosters are outdated. You can thank the lockout for that. Madden promises that they'll have updates that you can download with the new rosters within the next 2 weeks. That's the cheat sheet for today. We'll see you tomorrow.